Recently, my wife went on a week-long business trip and informed me that her mother would cook for me during her absence. I was quite happy with this offer, as I have always preferred my mother-in-law's cooking to my wife's. You see, my wife is still quite young, and her culinary skills leave much to be desired. One day, after a tiring day at work, I decided to stop by the store to buy a beer before heading home to watch a soccer game and relax a bit. However, upon arriving home, I realized that someone was already there. This is when it came to my attention that my mother-in-law had come in to cook dinner. Mrs. Jackson informed me that dinner would be ready in 20 minutes, and I retreated to my room to watch TV just as the match was about to start. While I sat there, Mrs. Jackson fiddled around the house, tidying up. I didn't pay attention to her actions at first, but after a few beers, the alcohol started to take effect on me, and I couldn't help but notice how beautiful my mother-in-law looked. She moved gracefully in her robe, radiating charm. Strangely, strange thoughts began to pop into my head. I admired her long hair, which I had always wanted my wife to grow, but she never let me convince her to do so. I couldn't help but wonder if my mother-in-law was deliberately trying to get my attention by walking around me in such a short robe. Soon dinner was ready, and Patricia, my mother-in-law, called me into the kitchen. I joined her at the table, and the conversation took an unexpected turn. Patricia jokingly asked me if I had entertained the other women in the house while my wife was away. And I jokingly replied, "Well, I would have brought you home a couple times while my wife was away." However, she seemed to take it seriously and got a little embarrassed. She responded by asking why would I need someone else if my wife is young. She also wondered how I could possibly like her, an older woman. I reassured her by saying, "Patricia, you are in your prime, well-groomed, and beautiful." I noticed her blushing and thought, what if I gave her a few more compliments? So, I proceeded to praise her well-groomed hair, supple skin, and overall neat and beautiful appearance. At this point, my mother-in-law suddenly remembered that she was cooking French-style meat and hurried over to the oven. She leaned on it with such force that I realized this was the perfect opportunity to make the first move. Cautiously approaching her from behind, I gently put my arms around her waist. At first, she resisted and pushed me away, but after showing some confidence, I felt her resistance lessen and she calmed down. The rest of the evening passed like a blur, probably under the influence of alcohol, but I regretted nothing. My mother-in-law seemed quite content afterward. Watching her happiness, the thought occurred to me, she must have enjoyed it. So I decided to do it again the next time we were alone together.